This homework we're going to be learning about tone. So looking at the back of your homework booklet again, I need you to find where it says tone. So tone describes the lightness or darkness of an object or colour. Tone is used by artists to create a 3D effect. Gradient is a smooth progression of tones from light to dark. So there's some examples here. So I'm going to talk you through what we're going to be doing for this homework. So first of all, the definition of tone. So if you were looking at this, you'd be able to say, well, this is dark red and perhaps this is lighter red. Okay, so I've just turned one of my lights off, so you can see here that the light is shining from the left hand side and hitting the apple here. This is creating a lighter tone. This side of the apple is in shadow because there isn't any light hitting it. So to make something look 3D, it is much easier just to have one light shining in one direction. So I know we're going to be doing a pear today, but I didn't have any pears, so I thought I'd just show you the example with the apple. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to be doing is drawing the shape of the pear. Now you can look at this pear if you don't have a pear. You could look at a real pear if you've got a real pear, or you could find a picture on the internet for this one. So the first thing I'm going to do is hold my pencil quite far down. Now this is going to stop me from pressing hard. Okay, I'm not going to be able to press hard and make that big thick line that I am not going to be able to rub out very well. So I know that by holding my pencil down like this, I'm going to be able to create a lighter line. Now I'm kind of going backwards and forwards, so I'm not thinking about the exact shape right now. I kind of can see there's a circular bit here, and then almost like another circular bit kind of on top, and then they join together. So the first thing I want you to do is to do a mapping out drawing. So it will look quite scruffy. There will be extra lines that you're not going to use. So really think about the shape of your pear. Now, if you just notice what I am doing here, I'm actually putting in some straight edges. Now, they're not going to stay that straight in the end, but it's going to stop it looking cartoony. So if I go back to the back of here, if you draw a pear like this, which I can still notice that's a pear, that is going to look quite cartoony because there's one single line and it's full of curves. So having looked at this shape and actually thinking, and you can draw one here, that's quite okay, how those angles are formed, you are going to get a drawing that looks a lot less like a cartoon, which is what we're aiming for. Okay, next stage, I would say try to find the shape of the shadow. So again, the sun is over this side, or the light is over this side, which is making a shadow on the right hand side, so on this side. So I'm going to draw in, and there's another little shadow here. It's not quite as dark. And then I can see a shape here, and I've actually not drawn that kind of bottom shape. Okay, so you're probably thinking at the moment that looks quite messy. Okay guys, so I started putting some tone on this. Now what I would suggest is that you put your pencil on the side. Okay, so you're using the full length of the lead and your hand is on top like this. Now you're not going to have the best control in this position, but what it will do is let you build up this pencil quite softly. Then I'm going to be using my finger to blend, and then I'm going to be using a bit more pressure, so I'm holding the pencil a little bit closer to the end So this side still needs to be quite a lot darker. So I can put quite a lot of force down. Now don't forget what I said about not having rounded edges. So you can kind of see here I've kept that straight line, straight line, straight line. That's going to stop it looking cartoony. Okay, so this part here still is not dark enough. So to get that smooth effect, hand back on top. You might be able to move your drawing a little bit easier than trying to move your arm in unnatural positions. So I know here, that section has got to go darker. Okay, so once you've got light, medium and dark, like up here, we're going to refine this a little bit. So the first thing you might need to do, like I've gone over the side here, is just use your rubber just to tidy that up. Now you might have also got kind of like finger smudges, like I've got one there. You might have rubbed it a little bit with the side of your hand. Now the trick is to create this shine, so as if the pear is shiny, is to put the pencil on, bend it with your finger, and then use your rubber to draw and to rub things out. That will create a shine. If you haven't put any pencil there to begin with, then it won't look shiny. And I'm doing kind of lines and dots just to create a bit of texture. So don't worry too much about texture. We will learn about that next lesson. So the stem can have little lines like we learnt last week. You can see a little highlight here. I think it's bouncing back off the table. Okay, now this is going to take quite some time. So the drawing needs to be as big as your hand, so it's nice and filled out on the page. It's much easier when you're doing this shading technique if your drawing is bigger. If you try and do it too small, okay, like this apple here, it's much more difficult to keep within those lines. So try and do it a little bit bigger. So the final thing that we do when we finish our homework is to just look that we've met all the criteria that we should have been learning. So I have used light and dark tones to make it 3D. So if you check on your value scale, have you done dark and have you done light? So I have. I can blend smoothly from light to dark. So I can look at this and draw a bit of a pathway. That's dark, that's getting a bit lighter, and that's getting a bit lighter still. Okay, so I can describe the definition of tone. I've done that at the top. I can draw the pear to fill the page, which is as big as my hand. So yes, I've done that as well. Now, typical things where people go wrong is they don't do it big enough, so they can't add the details, and they also don't do the darker tones. So you are going to struggle if you haven't got a 4B or a 3B pencil. You will be able to press hard with a regular pencil. Okay, you will be able to get a darker tone. It just won't be as dark as if you've used an actual shading pencil. So bring this to the next lesson, and I can't wait to see them.